Good morning, everyone. My name is Favor, and I'm going to show you how to use Kobo-tool-box. Now, you might be wondering, what is Kobo-tool-box? Well, Kobo-tool-box is a tool, an online tool used to make surveys. Now, to get there, you open your web browser, like I have mine here, I'm using Chrome. Next, you go to Kobo-toolbox.org. You type in Kobo-toolbox.org in the search box. And this is what you get. This is how the page looks. To use this tool, you have to sign up. So there are two options to sign up with. There's unlimited use for humanitarian organizations. And there's also researchers, aid workers, and everyone else. Now, I have an account with researchers, aid workers, and everyone else. So if I click on create account, it's just going to go to my profile, and I don't want that. I want to show you how the form looks like. So I'm going to click here, not because I want to use it, because it's going to show me how the form looks like. So this is how the form is. You're going to fill your name, organization name, username of your choice, your email, sector that you want to create, the country, your gender, password. Make sure your password is strong because it measures the password strength, password confirmation. And then when you're done filling all that, you click on create account. Now it also shows this form on the other type of survey, but I can't use that because it's just going to direct me straight to my account. So when it opens, this is what you're going to see. You're going to this page. This is your dashboard, what you have been working on. Now I have three drafts of projects. When you come here, you click here for a new page. Build from scratch. There's a template to use. There are templates to use. There are import XLS forms from other places, upload forms. But what I'm going to teach you now is how to create your own survey from scratch. So let's do that. When you click on build from scratch, this is what you see. You see your project name, you see the description of your survey. Like I told you before in the survey building class, description of your survey should be short, but not too short. You should explain what your survey is about. You should have your introduction. Then your project name as well should have the name of your project. You select the sector from which you want to work. Now, my project name is going to be middle class. Yeah, I'm not going to use it's showing because I already created something. Okay, enter description. This is my description. Subtext. Already written. So my survey is going to be about students and how the choices of their courses affect choice of the course they are studying affects their performance and their study habits. Next, I'm going to choose sector, and that's education, higher education. My country, obviously, is Nigeria. So I'm going to pick Nigeria. Just scroll down to your country, Nigeria, and then you click on create project. Now this is how it's going to look. I can change my project name at this point. Now you change the project name. I'm going to change the project name to student survey. Yeah, project name you wrote before, you can change it if you like. So I'm going to change mine to courses and study. and click save. It's very important to always click save after making a change in your survey so you don't lose the changes made. Now to create a question on your survey, you go down to plus, this sign over here, and you click. This is how you create a question on your survey. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the easy questions, like questions that you don't have to think about, like the age and the year of study. So I'm starting with that. Age and gender, sorry. So let's start with your age. And then when you click enter, you'll notice a variety of options. You have select one option, decimal, point, decimal, where in cases where you're inputting numbers that have decimal points, and then point is for maps, point, line, area, they're all map functions. Then calculate, where you have to do a calculation, external, XML, and so on and so forth. There are a lot to choose from. So when you're creating a survey that requires date, you use date. If you require time, use time. If you want date and time, you can use date and time. It all depends on you. So now, knowing fully well that people cannot belong to two different sections in the age section, so I'm going to use select one. And I'm going to create a range of ages from select one. 28, 29 to 39. Click to add another response. 9 to 3, 38, 39, 48. When creating a survey, it is important to highlight all possible sections in your survey. Yeah. So this is done. To add another question, you're going to go down to the plus over here, down to add gender. Gender, you can also select one, you can select many. So we're going to use male, female, others. Doesn't others out there. Well, you cannot write the other names because it's not socially acceptable. You have to use the names that are socially acceptable. Next question we're going to have is year of study. Year of study. We have, okay. You know, because we said this survey is for students in school. Year of study, select one. One, two, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, also add final year. Now I did something intentionally. I skipped a question that was supposed to be above this year of study. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down that question and I'm going to show you how to move your questions. So type of institution. Select one. public institution or private institution. Now, how to move it? Going to roam around this spot where the sign of what type of answers you have are, and then you're going to drag. You're going to drag just above, right? Just above the year of study. See this rectangle with dotted lines. That's where it's going to be kept. See that now? To shrink your question because it looks too big right now, click on the arrows. Click on the arrows. Click on the arrows. Shrink your question. Now I also want to show you something. I want to show you how to group questions. So I want to group them in sense that I want to group the personal questions differently from the survey questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click the first question. When it's clicked, there's a blue line that shows over it. You press Control while holding down Control. Click on the other question that you want to highlight today, and you can see that both of them have the blue lines. Next, you go to Create Group. Create Group. So now they are grouped together in a particular place, and then we're going to name it by clicking this twice and name it personal. Sorry, we're going to name it respondent details. Yeah, easy as that. That's it. So when you click this arrow, these two questions come down: the age and the gender of the person. Next, we're going to have, are you studying your dream course? You're studying your dream course. Okay, I'm going to show you how to use description. I'm done. Select one again. We're using select one. Yes, yes. No. Yes, not sure. So it's not everybody that knows whether they're doing their dream course. Now we're going to tap question hints. Question hints. What I actually want to achieve in this question is I want to find out if the person chose the course. That's why I say, are you studying your dream course? Or if it was influenced by other people. So let's say, did you choose? Is this course you always wanted to study? Because it has to be in line with the question. You're going to understand it more. Are you studying your dream course? Is this the course you always wanted to study? Yes, no, not sure. So it is in line with the question. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a select many type of questions. Select many. So how often do you study? Yeah. Oh, no, that's a select one question, sorry. How does this affect your study habits? have been positively, negatively, both ways, negatively, negatively, both ways. Last option is it doesn't. So next, it's important to put these questions in order so that they all make sense. Okay? So that they all make sense. Because if you don't group your questions logically, people won't be able to follow up the questions. If I put this question, how does this affect your study habits? And I want the answer to be from this question, but I move this up here, it's going to create confusion. And they are going to wonder if the year of study, if I'm asking the question regarding the year of study. Yes. If I'm asking if whether it's the year of study that affects their study habits and not the choice of the course. So always group your questions logically so that the people can understand what the message you are trying to pass to them. Now, next we're going to ask another one. How often do you study? Study. Select one again. At this point, we're tired of select one. It's daily. Once a week. More than once a week. Once a month. More than once a month. Then there's few weeks to the exam. I know people that do that. Few weeks to the exam. And then, oh my God, sorry, it's a mistake. And next there's few months, maybe few days to the exam. How often do they study this? So we can see that this is all in line with the question. This is all in line. So I'm going to make a subgroup for this question. Sorry. For the study habit questions. Now I need to move this. Yes. Next, one more question. Now we're going to use a select many question. Now, which of the following affect your study habit? Study habit, enter. We have a select menu option. Finally, another option, yes. So we have one social life, extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities, other sports, other sports. Next, we have health problems. Also add select, select all. Apply. We usually see this in many answer questions, like multiple answer questions, because some people might not know that it's something that they can select more than one. So when you write select all that applies, that okay, then it's not just one. Yeah. So next we have study group. Study group. Good resting time. Excessive assignments. We need to know, just cover as much as possible. And then there's one more option, others. Yeah, we're going to use others, which is case study. So we're going to use others as well. And we're going to do something with this particular session. Now, after doing this, we're going to add a question. Now, when you say others, you might want people to specify what the others is, right? So the question is going to be, if others was selected, please specify. And then enter. So enter. This is going to be a text. Here we finally use text. So this is going to be a text, or it can be a short note, whatever you want. So I'm going to use text, right? And I'm going to do something. I'm going to make sure this particular question shows to only people that clicked on others, and not people. If you click social life, extracurricular activity, health problems, and you don't click others, you don't need to see this particular line. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So this line is still clicked. We're going to go to settings, down, to logic, add a condition where it will show the question will only be displayed if the following condition is applied. So select question please. Select which of the following, select other apply if it is equals to others. Did you see what I did? I'm going to do it again. Since I did not save it, it will not save. So I'm going to go back up, click this question, and I'm going to go back down. Okay, so this is what I did. I went to settings and remove this now. What I did is I went to settings of this question. Now the options cancel. So, now there are options for each question. So for the first time, I'm going to use settings, but there are different options. There's settings, this is where you delete a question, this is where you duplicate a question, this is where you add question to library or something. So we are going to use settings right now. Need to click on settings and we're going to use skip logic now. The question will only be displayed if you click here and it will show a drop down of the questions, and then you're going to pick from the question. Now it will tell you if the answer is, you see the answers, if you pick many questions, you see the answers. Now if it equals to others, then it is going to show, but if it is not equals to others, it is not going to show. Do we understand? Okay. Now let's go. So one more thing, what are you going to do different? What would you do? What would you do different? Another question. Another question. And you'll notice how I need to save all these. If I forget, I need to save them. So enter. This is going to be a note. You're going to use the note for this part. Save. And now we have our question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all the study group questions together. Select, select, select. I'm going to group them into study questions. And now to just do one subgroup. Now I'm going to ask about institution details. Say I make this one institution details. Read and authorize it. How to name it right now? Institution details. And then there's another one. What would you do differently? That's a personal question. I'll make it under somewhere. And we are done. We are done. And also about the shows, say for example, well, I'm just going to add this. I'm going to add this last question, but depends on when you want to use it. So there are some questions that people choose out of range, right? Let's say people that are in university, you expect them to be like, let's say 60 marks, right? And then this is not part of our survey, but I want to show you something. So you ask something like, how old are you? How old are you? And we're going to use number for that. Now we're going to go to settings and make sure that people that are above 60, there's an error shows when somebody says they're above 60. So we're going to go to validation criteria. That this shows if your question is valid or not. So your answer is valid, sorry, or not. Has to be less than. So you're going to say here, the question will be valid only if the following conditions apply. This question's response has to be less than or equals to 60 years old. If you're more than 60 years old, Do we understand? So you're going to then choose an error message. This age is not acceptable. Sounds offensive. I'm just showing you an example. This age is not acceptable. That's it. Yeah. Since I don't want to use, this is all you're going to do if you want your question to have a value. So let's try save. And then let's try to preview it. To see a preview form. So now that it's loaded, we're going to see how our survey looks like. So it's next we're going to see. So you can see the headers because they've been group response, respondent details, institution. This is how questions look like. There's also how old are you. So let's go back and delete this question. Now after saving, you also check the layout, etc. After saving, we're going to go back to this. And share. Edit, tag, share, copy. So we're going to share. Everyone can see it back home. I'm going to show you what to do after you finish your form. And then we're going to save now. Now we're going to go back here. And then when I'm done, you see this one's already deployed. So I made a clone, the person here. That's a copy of the survey. This is how you do it. You make a clone. There are different things to do here: edit, tag, share, clone. So I made a clone to deploy. So once you go back, click on that icon and go back, and then you're going to see a place to deploy. Now, this will help you share your question. Right, cover that. Now it's in summary, form, data, the different areas. So after you deploy it, here you come down and then you show how you want to deploy it. If it's offline, online to offline, that's once they load the question, they can still get access to it while they're offline, or online only. but they can only get access to it, but they can make multiple submissions. But it's single online where they can only make one submission, and then online only once per respondent as well. That's also. And then expandable web form code, view only. So these are the different options. Android application. This is basically about installing their application to their phones. View only, this will help you only see it. And this is for the code embedded in the web. So we're going to use online, offline. They said it's the best option. Click online, offline. So this is how my question. Let me show you the part about others. When you pick others, you say when it's not picked, when you pick social life, right? Until you pick others before. This shows how it's right. When you're done with everything, after opening the form, so what happened? What we do is we copy to clipboard, and then I'm going to use my notebook to show you. So next, you paste. So this is how people access the form. I hope you've learned a lot. See you next time. Bye. Have a blessed day.